Ayo, are you on this call?
Hello.
Hi. Oh, lovely. We've all found each other. It's Charmagne. Because Paula put in 2 invitations, we've been sat on the other call since before 1. So apologies if you've just been sat looking at a blank screen.
It's okay.
Okay. I think you know Sharon Elliot. She's head of pre-reg nursing.
Hello there. Hello. And we did meet before with Taylor.
Yeah.
And is your name Ayo or Ayo?
It's Ayo. Ayo Deji.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay to be called Ayo?
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah. Ayo, I'm Charmagne Barnes, and I'm Associate Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean of the College. And I personally communicated with you after your last email to Joanne Day, etc. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, Ayo. This is it's just a couple of points that I want to raise with you, things that are troubling me. And I kind of feel that sometimes email is not the right medium because it's very, very difficult to, get your tone of voice in, whatever. If you want to turn your camera on, by the way, please do.
Yes, no. I can see Ayo. I can see him.
Oh, I can't see Ayo.
Okay.
Where are you, Ayo? I can't see you.
Here I am.
Can you see us?
I can see. I can see Charmagne. I can see Sharon.
Okay. I can see you now. Hello.
Okay.
Well, who you are? I've come across you. Yes. Now you see, I can put a face to the name. Welcome. Welcome.
Okay.
Anyway, I think what I need to just say is I've got 2 points that I just want to make that I don't think I can do on an email adequately, because I think an email loses tone. You can't see, it sometimes loses what people are trying to say and the tone of voice they're trying to say, so it can be misinterpreted. Okay? Now, I have no problem at all with what you raise with us, because they are legitimate concerns. I have no problem at all. Really no problem. So it's not like you're picking problems and just, for the heck of it. Both Sharon and I have agreed that there is no problem with what you're raising. But I have 2 issues, Ayo, that come from that. My first one is, I don't know why you keep copying in the Vice Chancellor and the Deputy Vice Chancellor. Do you know what they do in a university? Do you know what they actually do?
Yeah, the chancellor of the university, basically, their job is to make sure that there is a smooth running of the university activities. However, before it gets to them, it must have been resolved by their lieutenants. That is to say, the head of each department who runs that department. Now, however, there are processes within the university which must have handled such cases before it even gets to their desk. And I strongly doubt if it will get to their desk before it is resolved. Now, in my...
Okay, just pause. I think, yes, you know what it's not the Chancellor. The Chancellor is just a figurehead. It's the Vice Chancellor and the Deputy Vice Chancellor. And I totally agree. You would write to them in instances. It's not so much resolution, because some of the stuff that you ask for is not easily resolved. But by writing to them every single time, you're not inferring, you're telling them that you are getting no responses, or you are not getting adequate responses. And I have checked through every single. You may not be getting the response you want. That is very different from not getting a response. And for me personally, this is me personally, you copy me in as well. You're almost duplicating our work. Yeah, we've got 4,500 students in the college, and by writing to each and every one of us, you're confusing the issues. Because each of us think, well, I think he's written to the Vice Chancellor. Let Peter deal with it. I'm not going to deal with it. And then Peter contacts me and says, oh, it's that student has written to me, what do you want to do about it? So can you understand my point of view? My point of view is, by all means, if further down the line you want to make a complaint about me or my staff or the way we've handled it, then you can write to the Vice-Chancellor. But copying him into your daily communications, because your communications are becoming on a regular basis. Personally, I feel you're duplicating a lot of work for us. That's my first point. You might disagree, and that's absolutely fine, but I called this meeting just to explain the way I feel. The second bit is, I don't have a problem with the content of your emails. What you're sometimes asking for is very legitimate. But it's almost like there are two things. One, you want a response within the next 5 minutes. It's not, I'm just being facetious. It's not doable. I've got 4,500 students, and I am dealing with a lot of issues. People who've got COVID, people whose partners are dying. I've got staff who are ill. We're trying to make sure that our lectures are covered and they're covered properly. You know, looking after staff, looking after students, looking after work. So it's a busy old job. It's the tone of your emails that I find a little bit disconcerting. I find it odd that in response to that email that I sent you, you felt the need to quote, there was an intonation of some kind of racial tone about it, that you were a subject of the Queen. I must admit, I was looking at the email thinking, what? What is he on? What is he on about? I don't know what you wanted from me. So you are going to be a healthcare professional, as you well know. You're obviously very well thought of at Guy's and Thomas's, and, fantastic. I'm really pleased for you. I'm pleased if that is where you're going to end up with a job. But you have to take care of the way you are communicating electronically. For me, there is definitely an issue. And I have been in this job. I'm a qualified nurse, I'm an adult nurse, I'm a pediatric nurse, I'm a nurse tutor. So I have been in this job since I was 18 and I am now 56. So trust me, I've got a lot of experience. And my radar went up when I started to look at your emails thinking, you're very articulate, you take trouble to know your side of, what you're entitled to, your rights. I have no problem with it at all. I sometimes don't appreciate the way you write your emails, and you overcomplicate issues that we could just sort out as staff, students, two human beings. And you, and when you just said hello, I thought, oh, you took me by surprise, because that's not the person who writes the emails. I expected to see quite an angry chap on screen, and you're anything but. So can you understand? There might be a disconnect between who you are, because I know at Guy's and St. Thomas's you've done very, very well in your placements. So for me, if them as healthcare professionals think you are marvelous, why is it in the college we're feeling anxious? So can you just take time to just think about what I'm saying? Now,
Kit has actually raised this issue. I think we had a chit chat. She said, Ayo, how come in all your placements, everybody likes you? They say good things about you. And how come in the university, it seems you are a different person? Now, I will put it this way. You see, it's even good I'm talking to you now. You are Charmagne, isn't it?
I'm Charmagne, yeah.
Okay. Now, I received an email from you when we were meant to opt in. And you said I couldn't opt in because I have outstanding modules. In that email, you promised to get back to me. Now, prior to that incident, I suffered bereavement. Prior to my bereavement, there was a period I fainted. I sent all documentations to my personal tutor, which is Kit, and even to the occupational health. I got my medical record. I send it to the to Abby Mitchell and other for clearance for me to go into placement. However, when I got an email from you that I could not opt in during the lockdown, honestly, because I made contact with other students, it's like I'm alone in the world. And that put me into a kind of what they call psychological stress, because I just recovered from being suffered a fainting issue, which I went into cath lab. I was cleared. My junior brother died. All this were going on, and I keep sitting at home. My colleagues are in placement. All this keep taking a toll on me. Then, not until I got an email from Deborah Taylor, which I personally feel threatened in that email. It took me 5 days.
From whom, Io? Who did you get it from?
From I think it's Deborah Taylor. I got an email from Deborah Taylor. In that email, I feel threatened. It took me 5 days because I kept reading through the email. How will I respond to this? And because she has lectured me in evaluating advanced nursing. She was my lecturer, tutor for that module. I said, this is not the person I know. Why is this email coming from her?
Io.
And what now happened is...
Io, 1 second. Sharon's just trying to say something.
Io, could I just interrupt you for a moment? Because you remember that you, myself, and Deborah Taylor actually had a meeting following that email.
Yes.
And that was resolved, I thought. And we had an honest conversation, and we followed that up with an email, and there'd been some misunderstandings on both sides, and I felt that was resolved.
Yeah, and you see, I am bringing, it's like a sequence of events, even if it was resolved. I'm just narrating how I got into this situation. Now, the psychological toll that it had on me, even if it was resolved as of the time we had a collaboration meeting, it took a toll on me. Now, and that is the what they call sequence of events of things that happened. However, that gives me a kind of a thought in my mind that there is a lot going on in the university that I know about. That is why any of the email I received from you, unfortunately, I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I respond the way I perceive the university.
Okay.
That
I'm getting
I now come to, let me finish. There is a point I want to make. That now dragged me into even investigating the university. Now, with the E's in her PT group.
Now, I'm going to pause you. Io, because time is not on our side either. Okay? And I'm hearing what you're saying, and I can understand how we can see. I'm going back to something. This is all about electronic conversations, because all you can see is what that is saying. And I could sit here and justify every email you've had, everything I've sent, everything someone else has sent, what they've done. I can even understand your tones or whatever. That is not the purpose of this meeting. I don't want you to stop telling me if you are feeling in any shape or form that I am not providing you with the experience that you should have. I am very, very happy for you to do that. I'm saying I don't want the world being copied in because you're wasting my time. If you want the Vice Chancellor to sort it out, just write to him. Don't keep me copied in. 2, I can't respond to you always in the time period you want. I can't work any longer hours than I do, IO. You've got to believe me on this one. Yeah? I'm not the sort of dean who sits on my hands, does not take note. You can go around and ask anybody. I've got all sorts of different reputations in the college, but the one reputation I have got is I will respond and I'm very fair. And I'm consistently fair. Okay? If I felt that my staff were not dealing with you like we would do with any student, trust me, I would have done something about it. What has happened there is you've put yourself on the back foot, because suddenly I'm thinking, and I even asked Sharon, can you pull up all his records from placement? And she's saying he's doing really well in placement. And I'm saying, well, something's wrong. How can he be doing so well in placement? And then we pull up all the communications to your tutors. At the end of the day, I'm not into that, oh, you've got to respect me because of my title. It is something I have to earn. However, I want to be respected both as a human being and as a professional, because I may be the same age as you, I may be older than you, but that is where I have got the advantage over you. And that is something I want you to remember going forward, IO. Your career is not going to be smooth. It certainly hasn't been with COVID. It's a hard time for everybody. And this meeting was to find a resolution on the way you communicate with the university and the way the university communicates back with you. So remember, it's not about, but also you are getting to be a senior healthcare professional. There are lots of things you can make happen for yourself, and I think you're very good at that. But if you want to engage other people, then sometimes the way you go about it is not the right way. That is what the purpose of this meeting is. And I totally, having met you now, I totally understand how being on your own, sitting at home, worrying about completion of your program, may have turned your mind, that you would not normally write or say some of the things you might have said, that you have felt hard done by. And then what you've done is you've also then had the opportunity to compare with somebody else. And it feels like you've come out worse and the other people, although you're respectful and mindful of their circumstances, has done better. And it's a good idea, like they say, never question how other people spend their money or what religion or politics they belong to. It's the same thing. Look after you, but do it well. Don't, get a reputation for the things you don't deserve. You're very articulate when you write. It's just your tone of writing makes you come across as a very angry man. And so you can understand why I had to ask to see you, because angry people cannot be qualified nurses. Because what would you do if a patient or a client didn't give you the response that you wanted? What, you take it out on them? I know that you wouldn't, but that's not the, I had to be sure. At the end of the day, Deborah Taylor, Sharon have got to sign you off to the NMC. If anything goes wrong in the future, and let's say you are an angry man and you take it out on a patient, it comes back to them who are signing you off. At the end of the day, everyone may sign. I take responsibility. Yeah. So can you understand?
Yeah, you see, I understand where you are coming from, and I do appreciate you. We're talking about it. Now, I have been in Britain now for almost 21 years. I will say that when it comes to issue of anger, this is the way I will put it. I would rather go to court to settle my difference with anybody, be it the Prime Minister of Great Britain or anybody at all, apart from the royal family, which is the Queen, which is the person, which is the royal family I worship. Now, this is the way I put it. I will never physically or otherwise put anybody, including yourself, in harm's way, or put myself in harm's way.
Thank you.
I would rather de-escalate the issue if I
Yes,
cannot,
I understand.
or resolve my issue in the court of law.
Okay. Now, can you just pause again for a minute? Can you see if you were talking to somebody else? Let's just pause and think about what you just said. It is absolutely legitimate. And I think what you were trying to prove there to Sharon and me by saying what you said is that there is absolutely no chance that you would ever take your anger out because people didn't agree with you or whatever on any person. You wouldn't do it physically, you wouldn't do it whatever, and so you were citing that you would rather go to court and cite your difference. Okay. Now, legitimate, but totally unnecessary. Do you see what I'm saying to you? For me, that's totally unnecessary. All you needed to say was, Charmagne, point taken, but I can assure you, my anger does not have a place in my professional dealings with you, with people, with whatever. That is a normal healthcare response, not the one you just cited, including the Queen. And in this point in time, it's unnecessary and it's unimportant to me. Okay? I know what you're trying to say, Ayo, and I believe you. And I think you were trying to evidence it by kind of giving me, the top line. But I think I just want you to go away and have a little think. I'm going to go away and have a think about the things you've said to me.
Can I say something? You see,
I'm going to have to close this in 2 minutes. I've got to chair another meeting.
Yeah, you see, personally, I'll be very honest with you. I do not feel pleased or gratified or take a pleasure in conflict. There is no way a reasonable human being can learn or cohabit with any other human being by going into conflict. Is unnecessary.
Absolutely.
You see, all what I have been through, whether my domestic issue, which has spiraled into my academic life, I believe I can manage it, but it's taking another turn on me. However, I do not personally think is something that should extend unnecessarily into conflict. That is why, if you remember in my submission, that please, can you allow me to go peacefully and end my course? I think in two of my email, I do make mention of it. Please, can you allow me to go peacefully?
Yes, Ayo. Nobody is doing anything to you, for you, with you to create a conflict. What Joanne did, I read and I reread that email, and I think there was a difference of opinion that the stuff that you were pinning back on the university is beyond our control. Paid placements, going into recovery standards, that is Nursing and Midwifery Council, that is government. We are following rules like we have to. There is no allowance to be made for anybody after the 30th of September regarding paid placement. And I think that's where there was a bit of conflict arising. I could see it because Joanne was really trying to explain it to you. And if I'd had my way, I would have come in immediately on that email and said, pick up the phone, both of you, and speak to each other. Because look at the difference talking to each other as opposed to trying to get all this down in an email, Ayo. You said, I said, Sharon said, Deborah Taylor said, he said, we did, he did. We are human beings. We are best to communicate in this way. Emails have got to be reserved when you think, no, I need to capture succinct points, yeah? And I can't get a phone call because the people I'm trying to call have actually got a lot of other stuff on with 4,500 other students. So it would not be fair. So I'm going to close this down for now. If you feel that you do not feel satisfied by what I have said, that, please, the idea is to bring a little bit more calm to all our lives, okay? It is not to ratchet it up. That's not what I'm looking for. So, anything you feel unhappy about, tell us, but be tolerant and patient, and don't think all the time that the university is against you. We're not. We're on your side. You are our student. You're my student. I need you to qualify. I need you to get out into healthcare practice and be the brilliant nurse that people are telling us you are. But you have to make sure you square it off with everybody. You have to continue to give us assurance that you are sound and that you can do this. That's all I'm asking of you. So at this point, I'm going to wish you well for the rest of your course. I hope I will get the chance to see you in person at your graduation, but the way the world is going, it might be virtual. Take good care of yourself. Every time you want to write an email, have a little think about it. Think about what you're going to write. And try and think about what that looks like from other people's perspectives. Okay? And I will do the same when I am replying to you. So it's not all you. We will do the same from our end. Is that okay for now?
Thank you.
Okay? I want you to take good care of yourself. The health service cannot afford to lose people like you, and I can see you are committed. So just do what you do best, Io, without thinking that the world is against you. Okay? It's not. Trust me on this one.
Thank you.
Okay? And Sharon, thank you so much for joining us, taking the time out. And Sharon, I hope you will feed back to Deborah and to Kit. I think that's quite important, and to Joanne Day, that we have met with Io. And I'm hoping that going forward, anything Io needs, we will be able to, all of us, deal with it in a very non-conflict manner.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for. Okay?
Yes, of course I will. And
Okay.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I wish you all well.